I have a new girlfriend now and I'm moving in with her. We're getting a divorce and you should go stay with your parents. I don't understand what you're saying. I don't need you anymore. If you want, you can live with my parents and take care of the house. Julian, you get it. My in-laws and my husband laugh at me. They're terrible people. But for me, this is better, so all of you need to leave. My name is Julianne, and I'm 35 years old. I work in an office. I've spent my whole life working. After college, I started working for a big company. For 13 years, I worked hard and earned promotions. Now I'm a department manager at a young age. I have a great boss and a team of talented coworkers. Work is fulfilling, but my personal life hasn't been. I had a boyfriend in college, but none since I started working. Worried about me, a friend hosted a dinner party where I met Jake. He was kind, had a nice smile, and we had a lot in common. We became friends, exchanged numbers, and started going out to eat together. Eventually, he told me he liked me, and we started dating. We got along great. He proposed, and we got married. I was overjoyed to marry the man I loved deeply. Soon after, I visited his parents' home to meet them. They were very kind and warmly welcomed me. Julian, it's wonderful to meet you. I can't believe such a lovely person is marrying our Jake, they said with tears in their eyes. We're so proud of our son for bringing such a good woman here. Hey Mom and Dad, cut it out. You're scaring Julianne. Oh dear, if you really feel that way, you can say so. It's just a compliment, so don't worry. His parents were very friendly and easy to talk to, much like him. Julianne works for a big company, right? Yes, she does. It's impressive to see a woman who works hard. Will you stop working after you're married? No, I plan to keep working. Well, having a stable job at a good company is a good thing. I felt relieved. Some of my friends had mothers-in-law who urged them to quit their jobs, saying it was a wife's duty to support her husband, so I was grateful. I thought to myself that my future mother-in-law was understanding and kind. After we greeted my parents, we got married. I was filled with excitement about our new life together. My husband moved into my house, and we started our life as newlyweds. I was thrilled to spend all my time with him at home and to have him there when I returned from work. 8 months later, my husband brought up something he wanted to talk about. I'd like us to live with my parents if you're okay with it. What do you mean, live with them? Yes, they're getting older and I'm worried about them. I understand. My parents are around the same age, but my brother and his wife are living with them now, so they're taken care of. But since you're an only child, it makes sense that you're concerned about your parents. Are we moving in with them? Yes, that's the idea, but I'm not sure if there's a spare room available. They use every room for one reason or another. Actually, if you're okay with it, I think it would be a good idea to renovate my parents' house and turn it into a duplex. A duplex? Yeah, that could be a lot more affordable than buying a new house. We get to live in a nice, spacious home and still have our own privacy, right? I think so too. It sounds like a great idea. My in-laws are nice people and living in separate units would make things less stressful. Great, I'm glad you're on board. My parents will be thrilled. I was happy to see my husband so pleased. Later, when my in-laws visited, they were very grateful too. They were such a kind and cheerful family that I didn't mind the idea of living close to them. Soon after our discussion about renovating their house, my husband surprised me with a remark. Actually, I need to ask you a favor. Could you pay for the remodeling? You mean, cover the entire cost? Yes. Why? My husband seemed uneasy. The truth is, we're in debt. I was shocked. Neither my husband nor his parents had ever mentioned this before, not when we were dating or even after we got married. How much debt are we talking about? About $250,000. What? I thought it might be a few tens of thousands, but that's a lot more than I expected, I exclaimed. It must have started small and just kept growing. Even if I wanted to help pay it off, it sounds impossible. My parents are already living on a pension, and the debt keeps piling up. I see. I couldn't hide my surprise and dismay at this sudden revelation. Julian, I need your help. Will you assist me in paying off my father and father-in-law's debt? They're struggling financially, and my own income isn't substantial either. Doesn't that make it difficult for us to renovate the house and live together as planned? No, that's still important to us. You've asked me to cover the remodeling costs and my father's debt, which amounts to $250,000. I understand. These are tough decisions, but I want to build a life with you, Julianne, and I want to support my parents. I love both of them, and I love you. I hate to ask this, but if you truly love me, please help me out. I promise to repay you gradually. I was deeply upset. My husband and his parents had no one else to turn to but me. I knew my husband loved me sincerely, but I felt blindsided by this revelation. Love can sometimes make us overlook such challenges, I thought to myself. All right, I'll take care of it, I reluctantly agreed. After my husband expressed his gratitude and shook my hand, he shared the news with my in-laws, who later came to our house to apologize. My mother-in-law was so moved that she even shed tears of joy. I have to give this my all, I resolved. Taking on my in-laws' debt was now my responsibility, and I was determined to handle it. Though I had some savings, I was apprehensive about paying it all at once. Therefore, I decided to use $60,000 from my savings and pay the rest in installments. During our discussion on repayment, I laid out my installment plan, and my in-laws agreed that it was acceptable. Why don't you transfer the money directly into the debt repayment account? We're not very good at managing finances, and I'm a bit hesitant about handling a large sum, my husband suggested. My in-laws nodded in agreement. Transferring funds first to their account and then to the repayment account would be cumbersome. Since it was a substantial amount, I didn't want there to be any confusion, so I agreed to transfer the money directly. Once everything was settled, my in-laws appeared visibly relieved. Now we don't have to worry about the monthly debt payments. It's been really stressful. Dad, Mom, you should really thank Julian properly. Well, I can't count how many times I've thanked you. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that Julian is my son's wife. No, please, it's okay, I insisted. I'm just happy to see you both happy. However, deep down, I felt a bit uneasy, concerned they might view me solely as a financial resource. Despite this, I was committed to caring for my beloved husband's family. With their happiness in mind, I began making the payments, and we renovated our house into a two-family home. We started living together in a beautiful and spacious house. My in-laws were thrilled, and my husband's eyes sparkled with joy in our new home. I enjoyed cooking in the new kitchen and appreciated the renovations. It made things more convenient and closer to my work, cutting down my commute and giving me more time for personal pursuits, like studying. I worked tirelessly every day to pay off the debt. However, something troubled me deeply. My husband didn't contribute anything towards paying off his parents' debt. Despite his initial promise to help, he never used any of his own earnings for this purpose. When I asked him about it, he claimed his salary wasn't sufficient. I requested to see his pay stubs, but he refused, leaving me in the dark about his income. For about a year, I diligently worked to reduce the debt. One day, my in-laws inquired about the remaining balance. If it's been a year, you must have made a dent in the debt, right? We've managed to pay off about $60,000 this year, so there's still roughly $180,000 left, I explained. My in-laws were astonished. What? You've already paid off that much, Julian? That's incredible. At this rate, you'll clear the debt in about 5 years. I'm determined to keep working hard until it's paid off, I assured them. Thank you so much, my husband's parents said, crying tears of joy. Seeing them so happy made all the hard work worth it. A few days later, I faced a surprise. I had to work extra hours, so I told my husband I would be home late. But the work went well, and we finished on time. I hurried home, planning to cook dinner for my family. When I opened the door, I saw my in-laws' shoes. Oh, my in-laws are here, I thought. I walked towards the living room and overheard my in-laws and husband talking. You were smart to marry her, Jake. You did well. I can't believe she's so wealthy. When I found out she works for a big company, I made sure to be careful and win her over. You should appreciate her more. Wow, you're one of the people who caused that debt. What? But I owe the least. What are you talking about? How much did you spend on horse racing? Your gambling is terrible. I hit the jackpot once in a while, so sometimes we were actually ahead. How can we be ahead when we owe $250,000? But at this rate, we'll be able to pay off the debt and get back on track. That's really great. And she even remodeled our house. I've got a really good wife. Well, I'll dump her once she pays off the debt. My husband and in-laws laughed. I was so shocked I couldn't move from the front door for a while. After calming down a bit, I made a loud noise closing the door and announced, I'm home. When I entered the living room, my in-laws and husband greeted me with smiles. Oh, Julianne, welcome home. Good job, good job. Well, we're going back to our room. Let's have dinner together again soon. Their gentle smiles terrified me because I had overheard their earlier conversation. It shocked me to see my husband pretending to be a loving husband with that smile on his face. Why didn't you tell me you had to work late today? I did, but I finished earlier than expected, so I rushed home to cook dinner. I tried my best to act calm until dinner so my husband wouldn't suspect I had heard anything. Later, while he was taking a bath, I stayed in my room and cried alone. Crying as hard as I could fueled my determination to get back at my husband and in-laws. From then on, I acted swiftly. I started preparing for divorce and made plans for my future. About 5 months passed. I pretended to be happy and told my husband that I had paid off my in-laws' debt. My husband was shocked. What? You paid off the debt? The $250,000. That was supposed to take about 5 years, right? I actually have quite a bit of money saved up, but I was afraid to pay it all off at once. So I started making gradual payments from my salary and savings. But now we're below $200,000, and I thought it would be better to clear the debt in one go. I see, he said. Then I asked, would you like to verify? And showed him the bank book. Oh, it's true. You paid $180,000 in one go. My husband tried to hide his excitement, but I could tell he was eager to leave. Wow, Julianne, thank you. My parents are going to be thrilled. He pretended to wipe tears from his eyes, but I knew it was just an act. Soon after, my in-laws arrived and expressed their gratitude. Thank you so much. We're so grateful to have met Julianne. You're like a blessing. If I hadn't known the truth, their thanks would have made me happy. But I knew their true feelings, and I only pretended to be nice because I was preparing for my plan. A few days later, my husband asked to talk to me. He looked very serious. What's going on? I asked. I'm sorry, Julianne, but you have to leave me. What do you mean? I acted surprised deliberately. I have a new girlfriend, and I'm moving in with her. So I'm divorcing you. You'll go stay with my parents. Jake's sudden statement shocked me. While I had overheard their earlier conversation about him planning to leave once the debt was paid, I didn't expect him to openly admit his infidelity. What does he mean by sending me to his parents' place? I don't understand, I said. My husband's demeanor turned cold. You're not very understanding. I don't need you anymore, but you can stay here as a provider or housekeeper. Then the front door opened, and my in-laws walked in. Jake, did you finally tell her? Yes, I did. Wish I could have seen her face, Jake replied. You can move in with us if you do the chores. We'll charge you rent, of course. My in-laws and husband laughed at me. They were the worst. All of you need to leave, I said firmly. My in-laws scoffed at my remark. What are you talking about? Have you forgotten? I can easily pay for the house renovation myself. I changed the house title to my name, so I have the right to decide who stays and who goes. My in-laws looked shocked when they remembered the house title was in my name now. I was stunned by their audacity. I'm sorry, but you can't live here anymore. If we divorce, you'll be strangers, I told them firmly. My in-laws realized the gravity of the situation, but my husband, not wanting to be outdone, argued back. But you took on our debt and paid it off. You're the one losing money. If we didn't have debt, we could afford to move out. That's right, my in-laws and husband agreed. Thanks for letting us live in this nice house while you paid off our debts. I'm sorry, but I didn't pay off the remaining $180,000 debt. What? But your bank book showed money missing. That money was from a separate account I managed. The debt remains at $180,000. I delayed the collection process by making continuous large payments, but it's time for the remaining amount to be paid, and you are responsible for it. My husband and in-laws were stunned. Then I confronted them further. Jake, you admitted to cheating, so you'll need to pay. I'll also seek compensation from your partner for the affair. Oh no, she only stayed with me because she thought I had money in the house. If I have to pay alimony, she'll leave me. I'm not concerned about that. Actually, I'm sorry. Please don't leave us, my husband pleaded. My husband feared losing his lover, while my in-laws feared losing me. Their selfishness was evident. I want nothing more to do with any of you. I'm putting this house up for sale. Furthermore, I'll be seeking reimbursement of the $120,000 debt I paid on your behalf through my lawyer. My in-laws stood frozen, realizing the severity of their situation. I then pursued divorce and alimony from my husband through legal channels. I also sought alimony from his lover and reimbursement of $120,000 from my in-laws for what I had paid. Actually, the renovated house sold for about $400,000 in a prime location, and it was bought by a family looking for a duplex. After paying off the $120,000 debt and spending $200,000 on renovations, I ended up making a profit of $80,000 from the sale. In addition to that, I received alimony from my ex-husband and his affair partner, significantly improving my financial situation. On top of all that, I also received a $120,000 payment from my ex-parents-in-law. Ultimately, I benefited the most from this whole ordeal. I believe this outcome is fair given the significant damage and distrust I experienced. Initially, I had savings from learning how to invest, with the aim of paying off my in-laws' debts quickly. With a solid financial base, I invested tens of thousands of dollars, and my assets grew substantially within a year. Alongside this, I received a raise at work, boosting my income. These financial preparations allowed me to take decisive actions. Unfortunately, my former in-laws ended up in debt again and lost their house, but they brought it upon themselves through their deception. Those who deceive others must face the consequences. This experience has taught me the importance of caution and better judgment in trusting people. Going forward, I plan to continue saving and growing my assets to secure a comfortable future. My goal is to create happy memories with genuinely trustworthy people. For instance, I began by enhancing my financial knowledge through courses and books on investing and personal finance. This foundation enabled me to make well-informed decisions about where to invest my money. As time passed, I diversified my investments across various asset classes such as stocks, bonds, and real estate. This approach helped me steadily and securely increase my wealth. Additionally, I seized opportunities to advance in my career. I pursued additional training and certifications relevant to my profession. These efforts paid off when I achieved a significant promotion and salary increase. The higher income allowed me to save more and adopt a more aggressive investment strategy. Throughout this journey, I maintained focus on my long-term objectives. I aimed to secure a comfortable retirement and ensure financial stability for my later years. I also wanted to be able to assist my loved ones if they ever needed financial support. This vision served as my motivation and kept me disciplined in pursuing my financial goals. Eventually, my hard work paid off. I bought a beautiful home in a wonderful neighborhood and traveled to places I had always dreamed of visiting. More importantly, I cultivated strong relationships with friends and family who genuinely cared about me. These connections brought me immense happiness and satisfaction. Reflecting on my past, I realized that the challenges I faced with my ex-husband and in-laws taught me invaluable lessons. They pushed me to become more independent and knowledgeable about finances. They also underscored the importance of surrounding myself with trustworthy and supportive individuals. In conclusion, I turned a tough situation into an opportunity for personal growth by focusing on my financial well-being and personal development. I created a brighter future for myself. I hope sharing my story inspires others to take charge of their lives and pursue positive changes.